Today on Cruiseman's Garage, we're installing a set of these new dynamic sequential LEDs. These are super cool. They're the only ones on the market that combine sequential technology and LEDs. A super bright DRL combined with a sequential turn signal from SoCal Moto Gear. And today, we're going to show you how to install them. The tools needed for this job are a medium tip Phillips screwdriver, a Phillips with a large tip, and a 10mm combination wrench. Let's begin by removing the rear view mirrors on each side. Now, underneath your mirror housing is a single Phillips screw. Be careful when you remove this because it's very easy to strip out the head of this screw. Just kind of start at the bottom actually is the best way to do it. Start at the bottom and you can see it's going to lift right out. And if you look on the back of the mirror, you'll see the only thing holding it in, there's a couple little tabs here. This is where the screw is on the bottom that holds the mirror in. Push the mirror assembly down and forward, and this will reveal the wires behind the rubber boot. Locate the blue power connector for the turn signal and disconnect it. Now on the left-hand side of the bike, this connector may be orange. Twist the bulb assembly to the left 1/4 turn and remove. The mirror housing and the turn signal assembly are held in place with these 3 screws. Go ahead and remove these using the medium tip Phillips screwdriver, and then the housing will fall forward where you can then remove the assembly. With the screws removed, you can now reach in and grab the turn signal assembly and remove it. Use this opportunity to clean the inside of the mirror housing with a damp cloth. You'll notice that your replacement dynamic sequential LED turn signal system has 2 wire harnesses coming out of the back. Now one is a longer sync cable that will connect to the other turn signal assembly, and then the shorter one is the turn signal power cable. You can feed the wires through the opening in the frame as shown here, and then slide the turn signal assembly into the mirror housing so that it fits just exactly like the one you removed earlier. Now you're ready to reinstall the 3 screws that you removed earlier. This holds the frame to the mirror housing with the signal assembly in place. You can route the wires through an opening in the plastic guard shown here. Now there's just enough room. If you wiggle this guard around, you'll see it will make an opening that those wires will fit through, and you ultimately want those wires to sit in the channel that you see cut into the plastic frame. Now is a good time to repeat all of the steps we've done so far on the left-hand side of the bike. To complete the installation, we'll need to remove the front windshield garnish. Release the rubber gasket from around the mirror and push the mirror down and forward. You should now be able to locate a single 10mm bolt on each side. It's a good idea to stuff a rag inside this area so that when you remove this bolt, it doesn't accidentally fall down into the shelter. Using a 10mm wrench, go ahead and loosen this bolt enough so that you can then finish removing it using your fingers. There is a washer attached to it also. You just want to be careful not to drop these down into the shelter, and that's kind of why we have that rag in place. Once the bolt's removed, you'll notice a rubber grommet. Go ahead and remove that and set it aside as well. Move both windscreen height levers in the up position. Release the rubber tabs on the mirror boots from the front garnish. Now on each side you can lift the garnish tab off of the post, and that will release it on each side, and then there's simply 2 grommets that hold the garnish in place on the very front toward the bottom. Now you're ready to connect the turn signal power cable to the blue connector on the right-hand side of the bike. Go ahead and repeat this process on the left side of the bike. Remember, the connector will be orange on the right-hand side. Now connect the two halves of the sync cable as shown. You can tuck this cable up under some of the pieces underneath the garnish, or you could even use electrical tape to tape it down to keep it from sticking out. If you do not already have an LED flasher installed on your Goldwing, you can watch a specific video on how to do this. An LED flasher was included in your kit, so click here to watch that video now before putting the bike back together. To reinstall the front garnish, make sure the two plastic posts are inserted into the rubber grommets on the front of the bike. There are additional grommets on the side that posts will also fit down into. Make sure that the mounting tabs on each side of the garnish are over the posts as shown in the picture. Reinstall the rubber washers around the mounting post. Next, reinstall the 10mm bolt that we removed earlier. Next, reinstall the rear view mirrors into the housing. Make sure the rubber tabs surrounding the rubber boot are inserted back into the front garnish.